2015 was an unimaginable day for all of us. 14 people we loved were taken away from us on that day. Our employees were spiritually and physically wounded. It changed us all forever. Following the attack, the Board of Supervisors formed a memorial committee made up of family members, survivors, first responders, and county staff so we could build something that would stand forever as a testament to our commitment never to forget.
The Curtain of Courage is a place for us, one of mourning, but also we want it to be a celebration of life, akin to a small set of chapels, each signifying an individual loss, but creating a place that marks this day in time.
And today, we're here to honor the memories of those that succumbed during that day, but also to honor them so that are
available resource for communities and organizations that must respond and recover from similar situations. Already, that report is helping other families and other communities learn from your experience.
In America's largest county, you can get in touch with our recent history or journey all the way back to our ancient past. Camp, hike, fish, or just relax in diverse natural areas. Get up close with local wildlife. Knowing your support makes their rehabilitation possible. And discover how our libraries connect you to cutting-edge technology and out-of-this-world experiences. In San Bernardino County, you'll find every adventure. San Bernardino County, opportunity plays here.
In 2006, my husband and I, we ended up homeless. We had this piece of property out here in Lucerne, so we moved on to that with our motorhome. And then code enforcement officer, Sherry Road Truck, showed up at our doors. She told us that we couldn't live where we were living because we didn't have any permits.
Regarding Sandy's case, the county has codes established and zoning requirements that would prohibit the recreational vehicles being used as a residence. The reason why is because we often encounter issues like hazardous utility connections, improper waste disposal, and insufficient protection against the weather. These conditions can be dangerous for all involved.
We were actually escorted off our property. The lifestyle I was living wasn't very conducive to family, and I decided I needed to do something different. So that's actually started steps towards me changing my entire lifestyle.
Our officers are trained to establish a dialogue with the people involved. Through these conversations, we can gain a better understanding of their circumstances. This allows us to ensure people don't feel trapped or stuck in their circumstance. By connecting them with the right resources, we help them take steps towards a safer and more stable living situation.
2008, we got our house. I remember the first time I saw the two halves on the property and I started to cry. It was actually my very first home ever, and it's still our home today. I told the code enforcement officer, Sherry, I haven't had a single drink since. And I reached in my pocket and pulled out a sobriety chip to show her. She just set us on the path we're on today. I ended up going back to school. I got my GED and my associate's and bachelor's degrees in
Sandy's, please contact our office. Our staff is here to help answer any question you have and get you on the right path. We're here to work with you.
Through the month of March, San Bernardino County Library is celebrating classic characters throughout the county library system. Read Across America is really popular for the first week of March, but we wanted to take that one step further and have a celebration all month long.
Today's our special characters event. We're having a party with Frog and Toad. These events make literacy exciting because they just engage the children.
For us to be able to have these kinds of activities where, we could check out books to the kids and have fun in that process is so important. Having access to materials is one of the biggest first steps to get people reading.
The library is an integral part of the community, and it's educational, it's recreational. We want to let them know that it is fun to be in the library.
Bring your family, your friends, your neighbors. They have arts and crafts, they have story time, they have painting, activities for the whole family.
Kids can come to the library to have fun, have exciting things to do, come to maybe meet their friends or do activities.
Every time we come, I feel like Lila makes a friend, and so we always meet new people in the community.
I like coming to the library because they have a lot of good books that are very interesting and spend time with my family.
My favorite thing is just the peacefulness when we read our books. It's just so fun.
The library is more than just books. It's a place where little kids can come and do a toddler boot camp and shake all their sillies out. And it's such a fantastic thing to be able to provide to the community.
We're at Paris Hill Park here in San Bernardino, and we're here to assess all of the individuals that are staying here and to try to connect them to resources with the ultimate goal to house everyone.
The number of homeless that were here has increased significantly since I first started here with San Bernardino County. So the city has been working and speaking with us about how do we make those next steps. There's a lot of seniors here. There's families here that I found today with kids. So we're trying to make those connections to get those individuals out right now.
We moved to Washington State.
And during the time that we were there, we got on Section 8. We lived out there for about 5 years, and then we wanted to come back home.
But I had to tell them, hey, it's going to be a process because we have to transition from state to state.
During the time that we sent for the transfer for our Section 8 to come back over here, it took like almost 6 months.
It's been a minute, you know what I'm saying? They said that they were going to put me up in a room and help me out as long as I'm willing to, you know, figure out my situation.
We don't really have to go through this transition.
They have a plan in place. They were able to, show that. And so with the city motel voucher program for the interim, we're able to put them there while they wait for their permanent housing to be in place.
I have a home now, so that's the good thing about it.
And we're thankful that we met you guys and we met the people that helped us, succeed into moving on in our lives.
What we're trying to do is not only make a connection and have them feel like here's another group that's coming through to talk to us, but actually get them to connected so that they can get into some level of housing support.
We're finally getting back on track, and I just want to thank you guys for that.
San Bernardino County has always been the biggest, and once again, we're the best. This year, we earned an incredible 200 achievement awards from the Association of Counties, winning more than any other county for the third year in a row. There are more than 3,000 counties in the United States, and San Bernardino County continues to stand above them all in terms of accolades for innovation, efficiency, and public service. Under the Board of Supervisors' leadership, we were honored this year for making it easier to adopt a new pet, raising awareness of the dangers of fentanyl, bringing Wi-Fi connectivity to Ayala Park, safeguarding employee emails from phishing scams, cleaning up our communities, rebuilding the Birch Creek Culvert Crossing with storm readiness in mind, launching the County Museum's new and improved website, inspiring the next generation of county employees, improving access to healthcare records, supporting production of new housing units through a housing development fund. And this is just a sample of the 200 national awards that San Bernardino County earned for the services we provide to our residents and visitors.
We have thousands of signs that live in the roadway. Our overall mission is to keep the motoring public safe more than anything.
From here to Needles and then going up north to Trona, as far as county maintained roads. We maintain that whole area.
We manufacture 4 different types of signs. There's guide signs that are street name signs. There's also construction signs, warning signs, also regulatory signs, which regulate stuff like speed limits. We start with the Flexi design program on the computer. Then we transfer the design onto a material, and then we transfer that material to an aluminum blank.
The last step is we put this protective covering 1160 over the sign. Out in the desert, when the sun's beating on a sign, it prolongs the sign. If someone tags the sign with graffiti, it allows us to wipe the graffiti off and it's not going to damage the sign.
We used to do it by hand, a lot of by hands, just like putting a puzzle, just by letters. Now we do 99% printing.
With the HP latex printers, that has like really opened things up as far as like the possibilities of making more custom signs.
Instead of sending it to a company, it'll take, weeks, 2 weeks. Right now, we can just do it today and have it ready.
Life happens. An accident that takes out a stop sign. These guys have to go out there in windy conditions when it's super hot, 110 degrees out there. They have to be there to replace the sign.
There's something special about signs, in my opinion, because signs last longer. I've been able to make the sign on the computer, print it out, make it here on the table, go out in the field and put it in the ground. And then as I'm driving by, I can tell my daughter, I made that. So I think that's pretty cool.
Today we are celebrating the installation of a 1923 Ford Model T here at the San Bernardino County Museum. It was donated by Dr. Herbert Fisher and the Fisher family. This car really reflects the development of the car culture in Southern California and really all of America, and it reflects the development of the middle class. The Model T opened up access to travel for most Americans. This car specifically was used in the area in agriculture for the last 70 years.
It's a 1923 Model T Roadster pickup. With our roots, there's 4 generations of us that are from San Bernardino, and I was always very happy to share it with the community.
So because of the connection between our board chair and Dr. Fisher, after meeting with David and some of his staff, he decided to be gracious and give the Model T to the museum here.
The vehicle that has been donated to the County of San Bernardino Museum is here at Fleet because we are going to get it prepped to be able to have it as a display within the museum. And so some of the things we do is drain the fuels, get the electrical system ready so that people can look at it, and there's no dangers of any fuels or any type of oils that would leak onto the museum floor.
These are drastically different than modern vehicles, so it does take us a little bit of research. I mean, this vehicle is 102 years old.
Obviously, the Model T through history has been a sign of progression, but this car tells the story of Redlands, San Bernardino in 3 lifetimes, essentially.
It was owned by an orange grove grower in Redlands who was a customer of my father's retail flower nursery, Flowerland, in San Bernardino, which started in 1947. In 1950, my father convinced the orange grove grower to sell him the car for $50.
And then it was a delivery truck for the Flowerland nursery.
It's kind of interesting because we lived at the nursery and we've been taking care of the car since.
So for some of that time, it sat in a garage, but for much of that time, Dr. Fisher was restoring the car to its perfect mint condition that it's in today. He had it in parades, he had it in celebrations.
So I gave some thought to where it should go, and when I found out about the museum, I felt like couldn't be a better place for it.
I think the addition of this Model T to the collection, especially here in history and here in the citrus industry exhibit, furthers the collection that the museum already has. I think it further helps to tell the story of not only agriculture but citrus, and just the connection between the Fisher family, who have been longtime residents of our county, to the museum. It's just a wonderful match made in heaven.
And now we get 80,000 visitors a year who are going to be able to enjoy it.
Disaster can strike at any moment. Whether it's a winter snowstorm, summer wildfire, or an earthquake, being ready is our best line of defense. San Bernardino County knows that we're stronger together, so we're asking you to prepare with us. Visit prepare.sbcounty.gov to equip yourself with knowledge. Sign up for emergency alerts or download our Ready SB County app. Learn how to create a family plan, assemble an emergency kit, and more. Preparedness is a responsibility we all share, and preparedness starts here. Discover why there's so much to love in San Bernardino County by visiting love.sbcounty.gov.
Luther, you ready? Okay. Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order. I would also like to acknowledge and welcome the San Bernardino Riverside Area Chapter Delta Sigma Theta Sorority in attendance today. Thank you for joining us. This morning, our pledge and invocation will be presented by the 2nd District.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to start by inviting Mike Collins. He's the lead pastor of Solid Ground Church in Rancho Cucamonga. Served the role as lead pastor for the last 7 years. He's completed his graduate studies at Fuller Theological Summary in 2013. He had spent time ministering in Skid Row and MacArthur Park, which deepened his heart's desire for diverse communities in Southern California. Mike is committed to fostering faith, hope, and unity, both within the church and throughout the borders of the community. Him and his wife, Marie, are raising their 3 children, Leah, Carla, and Levi, with the shared love of this region. Come on up.
Good morning. Thank you for the chance to come and be with you today. And if you would please join me in prayer. Gracious God, we come before you with open hearts and teachable spirits. Every good gift, including the gift of leadership, comes from you. Today we ask for your wisdom to fill this room. Grant these leaders clarity and complexity, courage and challenge, and compassion in every decision. Bind them together with unity beyond divisions. Give them patience to listen well and strength to act with justice, mercy, and humility. May all that is said and done today reflect your love for all people and bring peace, hope, and flourishing to our communities. We offer this prayer in the Spirit of Christ, whose way is peace, whose truth is life, and whose love knows no bounds. Amen.
Now I'd like to invite Leah Fletes to come up and say our Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Please turn with me to our flag as we honor the great nation. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both very much. We will now move on to our memorial adjournments. Vice Chair Baca.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have 2 adjourned memories. The first one is Paul Ramirez of Colton. The passing of a lifetime resident. Paul Ramirez was a proud, decorated veteran who served in the Vietnam War. He was dedicated to service throughout the community, and he was involved in the local VFWs and Colton Veterans Parade. He was a devoted father who always involved his family in activities, including volunteering at Grant Elementary School, and he spent a lot of time with his grandkids. He graduated from San Bernardino Valley College, was a lab technician at Portland Cement for over 47 years. Paul leaves behind his loving family with Delilah, 2 daughters, 7 grandchildren, and 1 great-granddaughter. He will sorely be missed, and he was just very, very active in the Colton community. And the second aim is a little more personal for me. This one is Beatrice Jews. Beatrice Jews was a behavioral health commissioner who just recently passed a few weeks ago. She was a resident of Rialto. I had the opportunity to attend her 80th birthday party. She was 83 years of age when she passed. But also her granddaughter was my student, Natalie Jews, at Rialto High School in U.S. history. But she was just a great woman, great human being, well-respected by the community. She was very involved with the Inland Empire Concerned African American Churches, served as a secretary and health person for 27 years. She dedicated her time to many projects in underserved community throughout San Bernardino County. Ms. Jews was with the late Jimmy Jews, was actually a personal friend of my father, and the first African American firefighter and captain in the city of San Bernardino. She was devoted to her daughter Natalie and 2 of her grandchildren. Our community mourns her passing, and my staff will be attending her funeral, which is concurrent with our meeting. I had the opportunity to attend her viewing yesterday, so heart goes out to the Jews family. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Armendariz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. There's one in particular person I'd like to adjourn in memory, Helen Patterson, who was born in 1929, a lifelong resident of San Bernardino County. For over 30 years, she lived in the same home, San Bernardino County. She's survived by 5 daughters, 2 sons, 26 grandchildren, me being one of them. 78 grandchildren and 58 great-grandchildren. I'd like to adjourn in memory of her.
Thank you. Supervisor Cook? Okay, and I would like to adjourn in memory of Seth Franklin. Seth started his career with San Bernardino County Sheriff, and he moved on to Desert Hot Springs, and then he ended his career when, fortunately, he succumbed to melanoma with the Redlands Police Department. He leaves behind his wife, Ashley, and his 2 young sons, Ronan and Ryan, who are ages 2 and 4. We have 2 special presentations this morning, so if my colleagues will please join me in the well. Could I ask Deborah Rhoda to please join us? Good morning. Come on up. This morning, we would like to present you this resolution in honor of all of your 25 years of service that you've given to the county with the Preschool Services Department. Deborah has been an asset to the department, providing educational supportive services and a commitment to the Quality Assurance Unit during her time with the county. We thank you for everything that you have done, and we wish you well in retirement. Would you like to say a few words? She's contemplating.
It was a great time being with preschool services the years that I was, and I hope that I have touched the lives of the families and the children that I have worked with.
It's very sweet. Thank you. All right. Can we have anybody here with her today join us up for photos, please? Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. Congratulations.
Over here straight. Yeah.
Congratulations. Can I please have Cheryl Soares join us? Good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We are honored today to celebrate the years that Cheryl Soares has given our county, 24 years also in Preschool Services Department. She began her career with the county as a teacher and was later promoted to site supervisor at various preschool sites. We thank you for your leadership and your dedication to the county, and we wish you all the happiness and joy in retirement.
Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words?
I really enjoyed all the years I was with preschool services. I really enjoyed being a teacher, then a supervisor, and I miss all my kids and my teaching staff. But
all right. Are we ready for a photo? Would you like to have anybody come up and join us for photos?
oh no.
Okay,
I'm good.
very good.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
and thank you. All right, that's it. We will now move on to our reports from County Council. Tom?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There are no reportable items from closed session.
All right, and our reports from our CEO, Luther.
And thank you, Madam Chair. Nothing to report this morning.
Very good. That brings us to our individual board member comments. We'll start with Vice Chair Baca.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to thank the Public Works Department for the great work they did near Newmark Elementary School, which is in the Arrowhead Farms community, unincorporated part near Cajon High School. What they did, they invested about $1.2 million to add sidewalks, ADA ramps, which work directly across the school, which had never had sidewalks. So just want to thank them for their great work. Had the opportunity to attend the 13th Annual EMT and Tactical Medical Expo. I want to thank Andrew Goldfrack and the entire team at the Arrowhead Regional Medical Center to really expose our high school juniors and seniors to the field of either law enforcement, public safety, and medical services. And it's just a great opportunity for our students throughout the region to ask questions and think about a career in either the county, government, or any type of public safety thing. So it's just a great work for the community. I want to thank Public Works for the great work they did in the Devil Creek Canyon cleanup. It's one of our flood channels located in unincorporated San Bernardino. They did a great job cleaning it up, so just want to thank them for their response. And just want to give a shout out for all administrative professionals. I know that April 23rd was Administrative Professional Day. I want to thank all the admin that do great work throughout our county. And personally thank, our staff, Jessica Avina, who does a great job in our office. And last week, had the opportunity to attend Take Your Child to Work Day. Just think about it. We have over close to 25,000 employees in this county. And it was just great to see all the departments here, bringing their children here, sharing experiences and spending the day and really doing bonding. I think that's important for morale for our staff, but just the opportunity for their children to see what their moms, mothers, and fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers do at work. I think it's just a good experience, and I'm glad that the county continues to, participate in the event. It's just very, very exciting. The other thing is this past weekend, we had a Earth Day cleanup in unincorporated Bloomington and the Muscoy community. We had over 300 volunteers. The 5th District has. Applications are now open for next juniors and seniors next year. And I want to highlight 3 items on the agenda. Item 26, it's a $1.4 million investment of 5th District discretionary money in a real-time crime lab for the Rialto Police Department. City of Rialto is in the process of building a new police station, which they hadn't had one since the 1960s. So this will help provide the technology to help suppress crime in the city of Rialto. It's a great event. And then also item 53, just want to thank our public works staff for the Glen Helen Parkway Bridge over Cajon Wash. This is about a $52 million project, which is great. So this is important for the Devore community, the Rosina Ranch community, but also important for our concerts that we have at the Glen Helen Amphitheater. So this will improve traffic. This is a long project, a long-term project, but a great investment. And just want to highlight item 57. This is an investment in Rule 20A money, which is money given from Southern California Edison to make investments to underground. His father, who's a Colton resident, Rudy Ramirez, was just recognized in Washington, D.C. for his service in Vietnam. So just want to congratulate the Ramirez family, and that concludes my comments, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Armendariz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple highlights. It was a pretty busy couple weeks for us. We met with Make-A-Wish Foundation. We attended the CIEF Design Build Competition, which is a carpenters where they do skilled training with high schools and they compete, where Fontana has always placed in top 3. So I went to show my support out there in Long Beach. I want to thank the Carpenters Union for inviting us out there. I also spoke at the Fontana Rotary to give an update on county issues. I was able to attend the Fontana Unified School District's topping ceremony for their new high school that they're building, which is going to be a 7th through 12th grade, almost like STEM type academy. We also had our first real reality filming screening in Red Carpet. I want to take a moment to make sure I give a quick shout out to Dr. G, Miranda, and everyone else who was involved in that. It was a great outcome. We had a lot of great talent out there who demonstrated their commitment to not wanting fentanyl in our high schools, and we're able to do some very impactful films, which we'll be moving forward with on getting those played at our movie theaters as PSAs. Spoke at the Emprendedores, probably messed that up, graduation, toured our Office of Homeless Services. I want to give a quick shout out also to Marcus and his team. It was really eye-opening for me to be out there and see what they're doing, to see how those boots on the ground are really affecting our community. I think they were able to house 16 people that day, just to see what they're doing to make those inroads and getting people who want help the help they need. Super impressed and I love that. I also did a tour with our Assembly member Robert Garcia of Arrowhead Regional, looking at the seismic structures of Arrowhead Regional and how we're far ahead of some of the other hospitals that are in California that have to be retrofitted. I want to thank Andrew for taking the time and giving us some better ideas of how we are working in our units when it comes to urgent care, emergency services, and things of that nature. So it's pretty enlightening. Also attended the CSAC legislative conference where we were out there championing for the issues that mattered for our county. And I spoke at the Legacy Ball for the Black Chamber of Commerce for the Inland Empire. And those conclude my comments.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Cook.
Yes. Do I get 3 hours to speak also, like the last individual? Or first of all, we have a huge crowd today. I just want to mention one of the best parts of this job for me is where, we bring somebody up that has worked for X amount of years and we pay recognition. Hopefully their family, friends, or what have you. I don't know who started that. Somebody, but I think that is, I don't know, it just, to be part of an organization that never forgets the people that gave so much of their time and effort to the county, I think is, whoever did that, my hat's off, I don't wear a hat. And other than that, I just wanted to thank my colleagues. Sometimes I'm kind of a pain in a meeting because I'm always asking them for an explanation of this and what does this mean. I'm a slow learner, but we've got a great staff, and far too often I don't think we acknowledge the ones that help us on a day-to-day basis. Thank you, troops. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Supervisor Hagman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And a couple of different events coming up in the past. First of all, this week, starting tomorrow, is the SCAG Annual General Assembly in Palm Desert. I conclude as president this week. Really enjoyed the year. It was a record-making year for SCAG. A bunch of issues we had to deal with and still going, but I'll continue to serve on the SCAG Executive Committee after Friday. On Ontario Airport, we had our 5K run on the runway, and with all the money raised going to donation to USO, we hit a record number of $54,000 given to the Ontario USO from that to support our military service members. So that was great. We also had our fentanyl awareness real reality video contest, and I'm just very much like Jesse, just blown away by the talent our high school students had to put together a quick 1-minute film on how fentanyl can be very detrimental to their lives and how to put together. We had like 10 different ones make of it, 4 that got awards. So we had that at Harkins Theater in Chino Hills and had the students come out and get their awards. And we also had the 30th anniversary of Guardian Jet Center, the FBO on Ontario Airport, celebrated this last week. Kaiser, Ontario, in Ontario, recently had a ribbon cutting for their microgrid energy system. I think we'll see more of that with our wind turnoffs by Edison, with critical infrastructure being put in. They could be self-contained for over 10 hours with this new backup power that they established there. We continue to reach out to our businesses in the 4th District that do exceptional community outreach and help. And this week we gave awards to Papa Chino's Grill and Greens in Chino. And then we attended the Montclair's 37th Annual Volunteer Awards. We want to thank all the community members for volunteering. We know the volunteers that make our communities very strong. And then lastly, the Chino Legends had their senior challenge and at the Corbin Fair. That was over this last weekend. And that's about it. Lots of events. Springtime is here. Thank you.
It is. It's a busy time. I'd like to thank our county staff for all that they did for Take Your Child to Work Day. Lots of happy kids, lots of fun swag, and lots of experiences that hopefully those kids will take home for consideration for the future. So thank you for everybody that put all the time and effort into that. May 1st is National Day of Prayer. And I would also like to highlight item number 53, as our vice chair said, the Devore residents have a nickname for it, which I won't repeat here, but it is a great bridge that is hopefully going somewhere. And we really appreciate all the work that goes into this, and we are excited for that. So thank you. The bridge to somewhere. And now we will move on to our agenda. Lynna?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. We have 2 changes for today's agenda. Item number 61. Item number 61 is being taken off calendar, and item number 91 is being revised as follows. The item is revised to remove recommendations 1C and 1D, and recommendation number 1E is renumbered to 1C. Those are all the changes I have.
I'm going to have you repeat that for me so I can write it down. Okay, so this is 91.
Item 91 is revised to remove recommendations 1C and 1D, and recommendation 1E is renumbered to 1C.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, if any board members have a conflict of interest, now would be the time to disclose it. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our consent calendar, which today consists of items number 2 through 88. And we have a number of folks wishing to speak. Do I have any board members wishing to pull an item for discussion? Comment? All right, we will begin with Elaine Jones, followed by Christy Bethel. There are 2 podiums on either side in the back, and whichever one you're closest to. Thank you. You'll have 3 minutes. When the light flashes yellow, that's the 30-second reminder.
Hi, yes, my name is Elaine Jones. I'm here as part of One Legacy. I'm a volunteer in April's National Donate Life Month. I am actually a 2-time living donor. I'm from Fontana, California. I was able to donate my right kidney to my uncle at Erica Community Hospital. And then some years later, I was able to donate part of my liver to a 9-month-old baby girl. So I just share my story to try to inspire others to be organ donors. I know it takes a lot to be a living donor like myself, but you always have the opportunity to be a donor on your driver's license to get that pink dot and have the opportunity to potentially save many lives. I'm sorry, I'm rushed. I'm sorry about that. But every day there's about 10 people added to the transplant list, and everyone can make a change and make a difference if you're able to. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Christy Bethel, followed by Danielle Taveras.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be here in San Bernardino with all of the constituents here. On behalf of One Legacy, we are a federally funded nonprofit organ procurement organization. We want to thank San Bernardino County for issuing a proclamation this April in honor of Donate Life Month. And so One Legacy partners with hospitals and DMVs throughout the state of California. We have only 21% of the people that go into the DMV offices here in San Bernardino County, only 21% say yes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. As a result of that, one of the leaders here at the DMV in Fontana hosted the first resource fair for not only participants at the DMV customers, but also for individuals that work in the resource center or work in the DMV to be able to have access to community resources. So we are very fortunate to partner with the County of Public Health with many of the same services that your peers have attended events this weekend to try to just really make this community healthier and to just increase awareness. We know that you're more likely to be listed to wait for a solid organ transplant than you are to have the opportunity to donate whenever you pass away. I have created folders for each of you guys today just to learn a little bit more about your organization. We are very fortunate to partner with all of the hospitals here in San Bernardino County. And in fact, we have several community partners, high schools, that are also working with initiatives to do education to increase awareness about One Legacy's life-saving mission to help save and heal lives through organ, eye, and tissue donation. So with that said, hopefully you guys will have time to look at our packet. We'd love to partner with you and your youth advisory councils to really make San Bernardino be the first county in California that has what the national average is, which is about 75% of the people are saying yes to organ, eye, and tissue donation versus a small percentage of 21%. But together in partnership, we know that we are going to eliminate social determinants to health, and we appreciate, again, your support in proclaiming April as National Donate Life Month. We've had great support, and hopefully the community will begin to reflect their support of organ, eye, and tissue donation. Kind of concluding my presentation, we couldn't do it without people who do go to the DMV and say yes to organ, eye, and tissue donation and get that pink dot on their driver's license or state ID. And then we also have, when we pass away, we still have our families. And so we're going to hear in a few seconds, about donation and how it has impacted a local resident, just as you've heard
That's
from
time.
me.
Thank you. Danielle Tavares.
Hello, my name is Danielle Tavares, and my son was Cody Inborg. He passed away 5 years ago. I did not know that he was an organ donor until after he passed away. I think a lot of people have a stigma with donations, that if you have that pink dot on your driver's license, they won't try to save your life because they know you're a donor and there are people who are on the waiting list. I want to say that is definitely not true. My son, when he passed away, he didn't have his driver's license on him, so he was a John Doe until I ID'd him. After I ID'd him, then they saw that he was a donor. So they did everything they could to save his life at Loma Linda Hospital. So I think that there should be awareness out there that because you're a donor, that doesn't mean that they will stop trying to save you, to save other lives, that they'll do everything they can, which they did for my son. Again, not knowing that he was a donor until after the fact was pretty amazing. At 16, he decided to be a donor, and he saved 3 women's lives. He passed away in April, which is kind of crazy since it's Donate Life Month. And One Legacy has been such a huge support for my family after his passing. We just hit the 5-year mark last weekend for him, and they've been there every step of the way. And I think it's such a great program, and hope that more people will try to become involved, be a donor, get out there, put the word out that it's an amazing program. And this year we actually found out on the Rose Parade float, my son was honored this year, and we found out that we had another family friend who was honored this year. His name was Charles. And just to see that he was there right next to my son, and we got to share our stories, and it's just a really amazing event. And I hope that more people will become donors. And I'm not going to take my full 3 minutes because it's really hard. But thank you for this moment, and I hope that more people, again, will get out there and do their part and save a life.
Thank you very much, and I'm very sorry for your loss, and thank you to One Legacy for all that you do for us. With that, I will entertain a motion to move our consent calendar. I have a motion from Vice Chair Baca, a second from Supervisor Hagman. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. With that, the consent calendar is approved with item 61 off calendar.
Thank you very much. Our discussion calendar today, we will begin with item number 89, which is a public hearing for the proposed formation of the Community Facilities District number 2025-1, which is the Commerce Center 2, being presented this morning by Noel Castillo. Good morning. And I will open the public hearing.
Good morning, board members. Noel Castillo, Director of the Department of Public Works. Next slide, please. The public hearing today is to consider the formation of a Community Facilities District number 2025-1 and the proposed levy of a special tax within the district pursuant to the Melrose Community Facilities Act of 1982. In 2022, the county entered into a development agreement with Speedway SBC Development, LLC, and NASCAR, pursuant to which the county agreed to cooperate in good faith to form a CFD to operate and maintain the infrastructure for the development. The landowners also submitted a petition asking the county to form a CFD. On March 25, 2025, the county adopted Resolution 2025-163, declaring the Board of Supervisors' intent to establish a CFD. Next slide. A CFD report is in accordance with the Melrose Act describing the CFD, has been prepared by Webb Municipal Finance, which outlines the proposed service to be financed by the CFD and the proposed rate and method of apportionment for the CFD. The report is included in the board's agenda packet and entered into the official record of this public hearing. Next slide. The proposed boundary map of the Community Facilities District 2025-1 defines Zones 1 and its future annexation area for SBC Speedway development and Zone 2 for the NASCAR development. The SBC Speedway project is divided into two phases, with the second phase being a future annexation area. Next slide. CFD 2025-1 will fund, among other things, maintenance of public infrastructure, including roads, curb, gutter, sidewalk, landscaping, flood protection, drainage sewer systems, graffiti and debris removals, and maintenance of the operational needs associated with the Commerce Center development. The cost per acre for services in Zone 1 is $9,299.85, and in Zone 2 is $4,649.93, totaling an annual cost of just over $3 million. If actual services costs are lower than the estimated assessment of each parcel, may be reduced in future years. The first special tax levy will be assessed in November of 2025. Special Districts intends to utilize in-house management staff to administer the CFD and vendors to perform the maintenance activities. Next slide. On May 6, 2025, the department will return to the board to recommend the adoption of the ordinance authorizing the levy of special taxes, approval of temporary maintenance agreements, and approve receiving a deposit of funds for the developer to fund initial costs of maintenance operations and services prior to the first assessment of special taxes. Next slide. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. I do not have any requests to speak from the public at this time. Do I have any board members with questions or comments? All right, seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Thank you for the motion, Supervisor Hagman, and the second, Vice Chair Baca. This is for recommendations 1, 5, and 6.
That is correct.
Okay, very good. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the resolution we just adopted forms the CFD 2025 and calls for the landowner election within the CFD, which is to be held at this time. So now I will turn it over to the clerk for her to announce the results.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I have to review the ballots. Just a moment. All right, thank you for your patience. All ballots have been cast in connection with the landowner election for CFD number 2025-1, and the election has now been closed. The results of said election, which includes the number of votes cast for and against Proposition A and B, was unanimous in favor of both propositions. We may move forward.
Okay, so the next vote that we need to take is to certify the election results, and that is items 7 and 8. Thank you, Vice Chair, for the motion and Supervisor Hagman for the second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, and then our last motion would be recommendations 2, 3, and 4.
That is correct.
Thank you, Vice Chair Baca, and second, Supervisor Hagman. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. With that, the item passes unanimously.
Very well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, item number 90 is a public hearing to consider the annexation of assessor parcel number 3064-471-04-0000 into the Community Facilities District number 94-01, which is in the city of Hesperia for fire suppression services being presented this morning by Corey Nelson. And before I open the public hearing, are there any property owners or persons registered to vote in the Community Facilities District that are here today?
No. Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have the ballots here with me. So
Any-
move forward.
Okay. If they are here, then they would wish to file their written protest with you now, correct?
Correct.
Very good. I will open the public hearing.
Morning, Chair Rao, members of the board. Corey Nelson, Deputy Chief of Business Operations for County Fire. This item is a public hearing to consider annexation into CFD 9401. in
Corey, can I have
Hesperia.
you speak a little bit closer to the microphone, please?
Sure. This item is a public hearing to consider annexation into CFD 9401 in Hesperia. The owners are developing a 3.52 acre parcel near the intersection of Main Street and Catawba Road in the city of Hesperia into a commercial property. The city's conditions of approval require the owners to annex into the CFD for the purpose of financing ongoing fire suppression services. The projected annual amount of revenue from the special tax on this APN will be approximately $814. The owners are the sole owners of the property and have executed the necessary forms that request the annexation and waives various requirements. Next slide, please. This slide is the boundary map that shows the parcel and project location. And then finally, the two recommendations before you are to adopt a resolution for a special mailed ballot election and adopt a resolution that declares the results of the special mailed ballot election and directs the Secretary of the Board of Directors to record the related documents related to the boundary map and the notice of special tax lien. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I do not have any requests to speak at this time. Are there any board member questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion on recommendations number 1 and 2. Thank you, Vice Chair Baca for the motion and Supervisor Hagman for the second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The recommendation 1 and 2 are approved.
Very good. At this time, I will ask the clerk to open the ballots and tabulate the results of the election and then announce the results.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I open the ballots, I do need to disclose on the record that one of the ballots was inadvertently opened when it arrived in my office. However, the contents were not reviewed, and the envelopes were immediately resealed. County Council was consulted, and I was advised that due to the nature of the election, it's deemed acceptable to move forward with today's action.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Madam Chair, one of the ballots was returned, and the vote was not indicated yes or no. The vote was left blank on one of the ballots. So I would defer to County Council as to how to move forward.
Unfortunately, we have precedent for this. This happened before, and I believe before what we decided to do is to give them another opportunity and to continue the hearing and give them an opportunity to actually submit a vote. So that would be my recommendation again.
I have a motion to continue from Supervisor Hagman, a second from Vice Chair Baca.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, if I could, Supervisor Hagman, I'm not certain that because the next board meeting is next week, I don't know that we would have time to get the ballot sent out and sent back. If we could submit it possibly for the May 20th? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you very much. With that, the item is continued to May 20th.
Very good. Thank you very much. Item number 91 is subleasing the golf course facility at Prado Regional Park in Chino, being presented this morning by Terry Thompson. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Chair Rao and board members. Terry Thompson, Director of Real Estate Services. So the item that we're discussing here is to determine whether to continue lease negotiations with the existing operator or to open the negotiations to a RFP. Before I get started, I did want to note that the reason for the modification to the item was that this past Friday, the Army Corps of Engineers did approve the lease terms with the existing operator. So background on the item. On February 11, 2025, the board, by a 4/5 vote, authorized the county's Real Estate Services Department to use an alternative procedure under County Policy Number 12-05 to waive the policy's use of competitive procedure solicitation of proposals and utilize Government Code Section 25536A to negotiate directly with the existing operator of El Prado Golf Course, El Prado Development LLC. The board's direction was to determine whether or not the parties could arrive at a long-term market lease deal and present its findings on April 29, 2025. To determine market lease value and terms, RESD commissioned a third-party real estate services firm, Avis & Young, to perform a broker opinion of value, BOV, in determining the market lease value. The principals with Avis & Young, who conducted the BOV, have extensive experience and expertise in valuing golf courses, including involvement in over 150 golf course transactions throughout the United States, 58 of which were in California, including several in the Inland Empire. Status: RESD received the BOV report on March 26, 2025. The BOV recommended minimum long-term market lease terms for a prospective operator of El Prado Golf Course. In April, the recommended minimum long-term market lease terms were presented to El Prado Development LLC in a non-binding letter of intent LOI. On April 19, 2025, RESD received El Prado Development LLC's signed acceptance of the LOI. The summary of the accepted lease terms in accordance with the BOV's market recommendations are as follows. Lease term, 22 years commencing September 1, 2025 and expiring August 31, 2047. Base rent, $11,000 per month with 4% annual increases. Required repair and maintenance R&M upgrades. Requires significant R&M upgrades to be made by El Prado Development LLC to the existing property within the initial 24 months of the lease term, including the golf courses, existing facilities, and common areas. Per the BOV, the cost of the R&M upgrades are estimated at $4.1 million. Required ongoing capital investment. Beginning on month 37 of the lease term, the operator is required to invest a minimum of $100,000 annually in property and golf course operations to maintain the quality of the golf courses, golf course operations, facilities, and common areas. That $100,000 investment shall increase by 5% annually. Additional percentage rent. Beginning on month 61 of the lease term, El Prado Development LLC shall begin paying the county 3% of all taxable sales. In addition to the base rent, taxable sales include green fee revenue, golf cart revenue, driving range revenue, membership dues, food and beverage revenue, and any conference event revenue. Additional and tenant improvements. Over and above the required R&M upgrades estimated in the BOV to be at $4.1 million, El Prado Development LLC, at their sole cost and expense, intends to submit plans to expand the existing facilities. Any additional TIs require the review and approval of the county, the United States Army Corps of Engineers, and the City of Chino. Any approved TI plans that result in any construction would be at the sole cost and expense of El Prado Development LLC. Next step. In accordance with the board's direction, on February 11, 2025, the board can elect to do one of the following. One, proceed with this long-term market lease deal with El Prado Development LLC by 4/5 vote approval in accordance with Government Section 25536A, or two, authorize staff to initiate an open and competitive RFP process for this property. That concludes my presentation, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you very much. I have a couple of questions for you. I don't know if any of our other board members do before we take public comment. Actually, let's just go to public comment since I seem to not be as organized as I'd hoped this morning. We will start with our public comment. Each speaker will have 3 minutes at either podium on either side. When the light flashes yellow, it will indicate 30 seconds left, and then red at the end of the 3 minutes. Our first speaker is David Koyman, who will be followed by Danny Ortiz.
Good morning, supervisors. Just 2 days ago, I attended the memorial service of one of my best friend's fathers. During that service, he shared something simple but powerful, a reminder that we're all taught the difference between right and wrong. Most of us learn that from our parents, our churches, and our schools. And when something doesn't feel right, we're supposed to speak up. Supervisor Cook, I want to thank you. On February 11, you recognized that something didn't feel right, and you said it clearly. If we're going to adjudicate this golf course, I want to make sure we do it right. You voted no. You listened to the group gathered in green in the center council here, and you listened. That matters, so thank you. Since that day, more information has come out, and frankly, the smell hasn't gotten any better. The phrase "something smells" has come up again and again in our meetings with other supervisors. To Supervisors Rowe, Baca, and Amenderis, thank you. Thank you for meeting with us, asking thoughtful questions, and listening, not only to Eric and I's concerns, but to those of the taxpayers. Supervisor Hagman, we tried to meet with you. We wanted to address your comment from our first meeting in January when you said you had only met the current operator a couple times. We all now know this isn't true. So today, we're asking you to do the right thing. Remove yourself from the February 11 vote. Without your vote, that motion fails. This conversation wouldn't even be happening today if the lease had gone out to bid like it should have. Also, please recuse yourself from any future votes involving your personal attorney and friend, the same individual you appointed to a county position just before he secured 2 non-competitive land deals. We've heard your explanation, quote, "The county does this all the time," end quote. But based on our conversations with the other supervisors, that's simply not the case in their districts. So today, we respectfully ask the board on item number 91, choose integrity, choose transparency, vote for option 2. Let the county's real estate professionals and Parks and Rec do their job, and let's put the lease out to bid. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Danny Ortiz, who will be followed by, excuse me. It's very hard to hear. If I could ask you to keep it to a minimum in here. So Danny Ortiz followed by Julia Cabrera.
Okay. Good morning, supervisors. My name is Danny Ortiz, and I am proud to serve as the president of the El Prado Men's Club. I'm here today on behalf of our board and our membership to express our strong support for the current leadership at the El Prado golf courses and to urge the county to finalize their lease extension. Since the change in ownership, we have seen a dramatic shift, not only in the condition of the golf course, but in the relationship between course leadership and our club. The new ownership has made a visible commitment to improving the course conditions, cleaning up neglected areas, and restoring pride in a space that means so much to our community. But more importantly, they've shown up. They've been present. They've sat with us. They listened to us and worked with us to support the needs of our club. The kind of leadership, that kind of leadership matters. It fosters stability, transparency, and a strong sense of partnership, which we value greatly as a club. A few weeks ago, many of our members came together and signed a petition in support of their lease extension. We submitted the We submitted this petition because we believe their continued leadership is not just for our club, it is good for the entire golf community and for the San Bernardino County. We're looking forward to a strong partnership for years to come. We respectfully ask that the county support this lease extension so that the progress we've all witnessed can continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Julia Cabrera, who will be followed by Edward Ornelas.
Good morning, Chair and board members. On behalf of the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce Legislative Advocacy Committee, we respectfully express our support to the current ownership at El Prado Golf Courses. Prior to the current ownership, El Prado did not maintain an active relationship with the Chamber or the broader business community. Since taking over, the new leadership at El Prado has made a concerted effort to change that. They proactively reached out to the Chamber to explore ways to explore better connection from the golf course to the community and revitalize its role as a local gathering place. They hosted a mixer for our chamber and our broader community, and their outreach demonstrates a genuine commitment to strengthening ties with residents, businesses, and visitors alike. We believe it is important to recognize and support El Prado's ownership for their proactive efforts to engage with the chamber and the broader community. Their commitment to building a strong relationship with the Chino Valley Chamber exemplifies the type of partnership that benefits our entire region and that we seek to encourage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Edward Ornelas, who will be followed by Peggy Hazlitt.
Good morning, supervisors. My name is Edward Ornelas, current president of the Inland Empire Regional Chamber of Commerce. Since El Prado Golf Courses came under new ownership, they became members of the Inland Empire Regional Chamber of Commerce. And it's been a great working relationship from the start. Upon joining, ownership invited me for a full tour of the property. At that time, I had never set foot on the premises before. And frankly, many of our members in the Inland Empire and Riverside area had also never set foot on the property as well. Ownership made it clear that they had a long journey ahead, but they were transparent, motivated, and excited about what was possible. And so was I after learning of their vision. Just 2 months ago, one of our chamber members hosted a very successful charity golf tournament, raising funds for a Veterans with Disability nonprofit organization. Staff was very easy to work with and extremely accommodating. My experience in working with them has led me to come back for more. For example, since they joined the regional chamber, El Prado has hosted several events with us, both in their indoor facilities and golf course, including an economic forecast conference, which was attended by the California State Treasurer. Due to the El Prado team's dedication of bringing much needed regional awareness to the site, many of our members across the region are now aware of El Prado, and several are actively considering the property for future events. The transformation under this new leadership has positioned El Prado as a standout venue in the Western Inland Empire, something that was not the case previously. I fully support their continued growth and sincerely hope the county will take into account the momentum they've built and the community partnerships they're fostering. El Prado and its current leadership has been an asset to our chamber, and I look forward to continuing our relationship and seeing their vision unfold. I respectfully ask the Board of Supervisors to continue supporting their current leadership and allow El Prado to move forward without disruption. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Peggy Hazlitt, followed by Frank Lizarraga.
Peggy Hazlitt, President and CEO of the Greater Ontario Business Council. I come before you today not only as the CEO of the Greater Ontario Business Council, where we moved our annual golf tournament, Heroes Wear Helmets, to El Prado this past September of 2024. The accommodations at El Prado, we saw the change. But I'm a golfer. So I'll tell you, as a golfer, I was just impressed with the changes that they have made to the facility. But from a non-golfer's perspective, my vice chair, Tim Howe from Amazon, and also Ahmad Mohammed from Kaiser Permanente, they ran my golf tournament from the other side because I was out on that course. And they said the team that they worked with El Prado, was accommodating. The food was amazing. They were able to seamlessly move us from our taco bar at lunch to our steak and lobster at dinner. So if you are not just a golfer, go to the facility. The accommodations that they had, the changes that they are making to the facility are above par. No pun intended there. So, as the Greater Ontario Business Council, we have options, we have choices, and we will make El Prado our choice for our annual Heroes Wear Helmets golf tournament. Respectfully, we ask that you continue this relationship with the current management team. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Frank Lizarraga, followed by Richard Lizarraga.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, staff. My name is Frank Lizarraga. I'm a managing principal and member of El Prado Development, LLC, which is the current sublessee of the El Prado golf courses. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for your efforts and assistance in improving and adopting on February 11th of this year the resolution pursuant to County Policy 12-05, which precluded moving forward with an RFP, and had Terry Thompson, the Director of Real Estate Services Department, to negotiate the terms of the extension of the existing sublease agreement. As the board knows, Policy 12-05 has existed for a number of years as to county regional parkland, such as El Prado golf courses. This policy exists pursuant to the extreme importance of continuity in continuing with an existing sublessee, and very importantly, serving the financial interests of the county. Just as important is the fact that the land in which El Prado Golf Course resides and exists on is also subject to a lease between the county and the Army Corps of Engineers. Terry Thompson and staff has done a very thorough and complete assessment of the terms for continuing the sublease agreement with us for the benefit of the county. Those terms have been agreed by us pursuant to the letter of intent as expressed by Terry Thompson. And I do understand that those terms have also been agreed upon by the Army Corps of Engineers. While it has been the board's understanding and approval on February 11th as to not proceeding with an RFP, doing so would have dire and significant negative financial consequences to the county as to the continued operations of the golf course. And as this board and county staff is aware of, the monthly lease payments are primarily predicated on the revenue that the golf course generates. And the revenue is predicated on the private assets of the golf course that we acquired from the prior ownership. Those assets are primarily the liquor license, the brand new golf carts that we had to acquire, 110 of them, all the existing golf course maintenance equipment for 36 holes, and all the inventory, food and beverage, pro shop golf, and driving range equipment. We also have another very serious issue to resolve because the prior ownership and management failed to utterly upgrade and maintain the facilities, including the 5-acre parking lot. We will lose our insurance policy on July 1st because of the quality and condition of the parking lot. We have set aside currently $600,000 to repair and renovate upon approval by the county of the extension lease agreement. We also, as pointed out, have set aside approximately $4 million to the upgrade.
That's time.
Thank you very much, and I apologize for mispronouncing your last name.
That's okay.
Our last request to speak that I have is Richard Lizarraga.
Good morning. My name is Richard Lizarraga. I've been employed at El Prado Golf Courses for past 7 years, and I've also been a long member of the Men's Club, where I served as treasurer for the last 15 years. My last year was last year. I play here many years and witnessed firsthand the highs and lows of this property. Around 2019, when the courses was struggling financially, we lost our full-time superintendent, and for a long time, we only part-time superintendent became aware of the business might not survive out of concern for the future of the property. I reached out to my brother Frank to see if he could help. The conversation ultimately led to the successful purchase of El Prado by new ownership, without whom this place might not have stayed afloat. Since the change in ownership, I have seen complete culture shift. The pride in leadership now, every department from maintenance to operations have been revitalized. We removed over 60 dead trees, restored greens and fairways that were deteriorating, and begun trimming and cleaning areas that hadn't been touched in decades. The team has acquired newer, more reliable equipment, has led to groundwork for long-term improvements. There's still work to be done, but for the first time in years, the future of El Prado looks promising. I respectfully ask the Board of Supervisors to continue supporting the progress and allow the current ownership for a long-term lease. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's the last request to speak that I have on this agenda item, so we'll bring it back for questions and comments. Terry, did we have to print in our agenda item today? We didn't have to hear it today, the negotiated lease agreement with the current operator. Is that correct?
That we
So we've heard from some folks that we haven't been transparent. And to me, it seems like we've been more than transparent by printing the terms of the lease in the board agenda item today. Like every step along the way, it feels like we've been more than transparent and did things over and beyond what we had to do. Would you agree with that?
Yes, that we did present these terms that we didn't have to present.
Okay. And I want to really thank Supervisor Cook, because prior to this, I'm not a golfer. I really didn't know much about golf courses. Now I know an awful lot about golf courses. And well, no, I'm going to thank you. So I had no idea. And thank you to Supervisor Cook also for the, what does the BOV stand for? Broker's Opinion of Value?
Broker opinion of value, yes.
So that is what someone that is independent and not connected to this other than their golf background and expertise comes in and tells us what they believe this is valued and what would be a good value for the county to get.
Yeah, that's correct. The broker opinion value, also known BOV, that is a real estate industry, common term when you seek a broker's opinion, market expertise opinion on a value of a given property. Could be any property. This is a unique property in that it's a golf course, and so we needed to seek third-party expertise in order to help us ascertain the value.
Yeah, thank you for that, Paul. I appreciate that. So once we have that, then there were no negotiated terms that the current leaseholder accepted that, correct?
We put forth the terms that were recommended in the BOV to the existing operator, and yes, they accepted them as proposed.
So then in part of my research too, I look at when do we do sole source and in what instances, and why do we go out for RFPs, because that seems like a natural best thing to happen. And in the course of my research on this project, the current leaseholder took over from someone else mid-lease. Is that accurate?
Not mid-lease, but towards the end
Towards
of
the
their
end.
lease, approximately 5 years ago.
When I met with the group, that they were frustrated that more investment hadn't been done by the current leaseholder. And when I realized that they took over it towards the end of the lease, that also explains to me why they wouldn't make an investment until they had a new lease. And we see this a lot in different things, whether it's in our solid waste department with our landfill operators or our trash hauler contracts, that in order for there to be a sizable investment, you have to guarantee the leaseholder a duration of time where they can amortize and recoup their investment. And so that answered a lot of the questions that I had on why those investments weren't made within the last 2 years. But when I did look at the investments that were made in the last 2 years, I'm not sure I would have spent that much money to do those knowing that the lease was coming up for renewal. So I'd like to thank you for putting together a longer term lease so that we can now know what's expected in terms of investment into it. I appreciate the due diligence that everybody has done on this item. I did have a question on the ABC license. Does that transfer with the RFP? If someone else, if we were to go out for recommendation number 2 in an RFP, would the liquor license transfer, Or would it be possible that we would award an RFP to someone that then doesn't have access or availability to a liquor license, to the best of your knowledge?
I think I would defer to council and Luther on this because it's not my area of expertise.
Yeah, if you want, I could have Mark Wardloff, and he's in the audience, come up, but I can answer it because we've talked about this. I can give you my best, and if you need more, we can call him up.
Sure.
So I understand it's a Type 47 liquor license that allows beer, wine, and liquor to be served. That license doesn't necessarily automatically transfer. That would be at the discretion of the current operator and a future operator to work out whether that would want to be transferred under some terms that they would come to agreement with. There is a process for a new operator to get a Type 47 liquor license in the state of California. I believe it's a lottery system. So there is some risk that a new license could not be obtained timely, though at some point there likely would be. If you want more, I'd probably defer to Mark to explain that in more detail.
Any questions of staff? Supervisor Armendariz?
Yeah, I want to start with just thanking our Supervisor Cook for his look at this, and from my understanding, by us going out and doing this broker price opinion, we've actually got a better deal. Would you say, Terry, that with this new deal, that this is a good transaction for the county?
It's a market transaction that's supported by the broker opinion value. It's, value in golf courses is not my area of expertise. So we did need to get the third-party professional, and it is a representative, supportable market deal as determined by those experts.
I understand a lot of the stuff that I'm not going to rehash it, but the chairwoman made some very valid points when it comes to investing and reinvesting into something, and being able to work through that and give the opportunity for the leasee to actually invest in this. So I think for me, it's really just making sure that we are getting a good value, and it sounds like we are. We're getting the fair market value that should have been generated. I think this is a good deal for the county. So I want to thank Supervisor Cook for, taking a stance in the last meeting to encourage us to make sure we're doing due diligence. That's all.
Thank you. Supervisor Cook?
Yeah, the longer I hear this argument, I get more and more confused. Of course, I'm the dumbest one on the panel here, so you can understand that. I grew up in an environment, my father ran the water department, my uncle public works, police chief was on my mother's side, fire chief and everything like that. So I've seen a lot of different things in city government. This is about 60,000 people back east. My concern, I thought we were talking about and maybe I missed the ballot on whether the people that are the residents or what have you there wouldn't be a ballot. Well, I'm going to throw out the question is, should we have a ballot?
That's what we're here for.
Well, I want a ballot because I'm not, and it shows my stupidity. There's very, very sharp people out there. I'm just a dumb Marine, and I just want to make sure I get it straight. And normally on a ballot, the attorneys and everyone else, they go through the fine points, and you get somebody like Tom, and he says stuff that I don't understand, but at least I get a better understanding. So right now, I don't know, I'm probably the Lone Ranger, but I'm still very uncomfortable with it. And I'm wondering if, I'm saying I think I want a ballot. So you think it over, and maybe it's expensive or what have you, but that's just my take on it right now.
I don't even know if that's possible. Supervisor Hagman?
Thank you. Thank you for all the comments by board members, and this is my district. And what I want to say is this is not unusual. We have had many of our park vendors, when this Calico Ghost Town, Live Nation at Devore, and other places where we go in, and the problem is with the short-term leases is, you see this at Chino Airport and other county assets, when the lease comes to the end, the current leaseor doesn't invest into the upkeep of the facilities. And we usually inherit back something that's not to standards that we would like as the county. So we do this quite often. We go tell the staff, hey, is there a current market rate deal? We're not here to do anything besides provide recreation activities on our parks for our residents and make sure they're upkeep. On Prado Park alone, we have a boat vendor, we have a kitchen, the dock cafeteria, we have the horses, we have the shooting range, we have the archery range, all by different vendors. And we see if they're making, and what they're there is for the public good, to have the public have facilities to go utilize and to maintain it. When the leases come due, and this was happened the previous administration, this golf course, they weren't making it, they weren't putting the money back into it, and it is embarrassing for the county right now in the facilities upkeep. Any investor is going to need a ROI on their investment to make sure they put the money back into it. And Terry, I was going to ask you, is this deal make sure capital improvements, so we're going to bring it up to our standards, including with, I believe it's going to be shut down here in July if we don't get the parking lot done because of insurance, if I'm not mistaken.
The capital improvements are a requirement in the lease, primarily focused on the upgrades and repair and maintenance to all the deferred maintenance that was, really caused by the previous operator and deteriorated over time. And so we made that a requirement in the first 24 months.
And we've done that a few times with other, at least in my tenure in my district, for the airport and other lease continuations we do. We do that doing that currently with our concert provider in DeVore. You got to put so much capital improvement in if we're going to continue your lease. And we make sure that's the best thing. But the reality is this is for the use of the residents and to make sure we have up-to-date facilities. And yeah, I'm concerned about the continuation of golfing, to just keep it open if we don't have the continuation of, extended lease on that. That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, I will make a recommendation to move. I will make a recommendation that we move staff's recommendation number 1 to amend and extend the revenue sublease agreement with El Prado Development.
I will second that.
Thank you for the motion or the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With that, recommendation number 1 is approved with Supervisor Cook voting nay.
Thank you very much. Now we move on to our general public comment. This is for items that we have not heard on today's agenda. I have a number of requests to speak. First, we will begin by Matt Zoder. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your last name, followed by David Koyman.
Yes, you got that correct. Thank you. Good morning, supervisors. I had the privilege of working at El Prado for several years and have firsthand knowledge of the management group that you just voted to give a long-term lease, assuming the Army Corps of Engineer approved.
This is for items not on today's agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you have anything to say that's not pertaining to anything that we've already heard?
Negative.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, David Koyman, followed by Loretta Hunter.
So I own a house in Ontario, California in the 4th District. If I wanted to sell that and move out of state, and I hired an appraiser who was just one person with one opinion, would I call my real estate agent and say, hey, we're good. You know what? We don't need to list this property to see what someone's willing to pay for it, that I put a lot of money into it, that I did it. To get fair market value, I would put it out to market to see what someone's worth paying for. Everyone knows that. That's how it works in the private sector. I don't know why that's not how it works here. You need to go out to bid to see what someone's willing to pay for it. Everyone knows that. I'm sorry, we all know that this is to Agenda 91. I respectfully will point out, but we are not finished here.
Thank you very
Supervisors,
much.
you made the wrong decision today.
Thank you. Loretta Hunter, followed by Eric Fisk. oh, I can't pronounce it. Fix?
Hello, my name is Loretta Hunter. I'm here because I wanted to speak to this board members to stop a tax sale that's been unfairly put on a property located in your county. There's a $46,000 unfair assessment being done on that property. I asked that the board check all of the 2019 tax. That home has been in our family over 40 years. It was closed down on a notice of an abatement. We did a total rehab. We slept in the garage of that property to make sure that it wasn't gone. That house has completely been remodeled. Those assessments are completely wrong. And I would ask that this board check everything that I'm saying and stop the sale on that property on May 10th. It's totally incorrect, 100%. I would ask that you guys check your code enforcement agencies. I've sent in a list of order of events. I would ask that you check those. We finished the house during COVID. 3 of my family members caught COVID, but we are 100% in compliance. That house belongs to us. And I would ask that you guys to really look into this situation. And I know I'm not alone. That's all I have to say. And thank you.
Thank you. Eric Fisk? Fixie?
Yep, good morning. I'm going to agree with Dave that,
Ma'am?
you know, one broker opinion of value is just one person, but when you open it up to the market, that's the true opinion of value, is what the market will pay. So I'm going to agree with Dave on this, and I know we can't speak on the other issues, but that's a true market value, not just one person.
Thank you. Dr. Regina Stell, followed by Dr. Gail Grayson.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Stell, member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. I'm going to defer to my Madam President. I didn't know she was going to be here.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Gail Evans Grayson, the chapter president for Inland Valley Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Good morning, Madam Chair, honorable supervisors, county staff, and members of the public. As we stand here today representing our chapters and the collective voice of our members across San Bernardino County, we would like to take this opportunity for the continued support that we have received from our Board of Supervisors. I want to take a moment to personally recognize Supervisor Colonel Paul Cook, Supervisor Joe Baca Jr., 2 leaders we've known and respected for many years. Thank you for your continued support. Supervisor Armendez, your thoughtful leadership and commitment to community-centered policies over the last few years has always set a high standard for that, and we appreciate your time. Supervisor Hagman, we walked alongside you in many spaces as a number of our chapters and schools reside in your district, and it is inspiring to see your continued dedication to justice, education, and equity in the various service areas that we provide. I'd like to provide just a historical overview of our organization and its legacy. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated was founded on January 13th, 1913 by 22 visionary women, college-educated women. In the 112 years of our existence, our organization has grown into a global force for social change, with more than 350,000 women initiated over in 1,000 chapters worldwide. Our legacy was created out of action. Our founders made the public debut by marching in the 1913 Women Suffrage March. And a bold statement of our commitment to equity, civic engagement that continues to this day. Right here in San Bernardino County, our chapters are the driving force in the community, offering year-round programming, direct service, and advocacy rooted in our 5 programmatic thrusts, including educational development, economic development, international awareness and involvement, political awareness and involvement, and physical and mental health involvement. We stand with you today to ask for the continued support of our partnership in all of our school districts and the surrounding areas within San Bernardino County. We ask for continued support.
Thank you. Kristen McGuire, followed by Carlo.
Good afternoon, Kristen McGuire from the award-winning Pomona Valley Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. To continue the previous speech, that's why we're here today, not only to share who we are, but to say that we stand willing and available to partner with you in the county to continue to advance equity, closing opportunity gaps, and serving those most in need. We're especially focused on areas where we see urgent need and opportunities in our community, including health equity, youth empowerment, educational access, and housing stability for our neighbors here in San Bernardino County. So on behalf of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, at the local, regional, and national levels, we thank you for your work each of you do each day. We see you, we appreciate you, and we look forward to being an active partner in the shared mission of uplifting communities throughout San Bernardino County. Additionally, each of our chapters offers scholarships to high school girls that are available every single year, and we would love to continue to partner with you all to get that information out to the students of San Bernardino County. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you very much. Carlo, followed by Usha Ranjaragan.
Good morning, Colonel Cook. Pleasure, sir. I'm also a service member. Unfortunately, on Thursday, May 1st, my attorney told me that the state or the county CFS is taking my children from me. I came in with 50-50 custody. Now the mother is getting 100%, and I'm being erased. Not because I hurt my kids, but because I told the truth about what they endured. My daughter is emotionally hurting and made a story to protect her mother, fearing her mom would go to jail for the abuse. The police knew she was lying. That's why I wasn't arrested. The CFS, led by people like Ms. Mimi, refused to release me for speaking the truth. Ms. Crystal Newman showed clear bias when she told me that if I had done what the mother had done, I would be in jail and register as a sex offender. It's favoritism towards the mother, despite the lack of evidence and the evidence showing her abuse. Ms. Sneed admitted that when Mr. Humberto Santana took my rights of consent away for travel, which is a civil right, didn't read the paperwork. She said she was too busy and stripped me of my rights. And then when I told her that my kids were sprayed in the face with oven cleaner by the mother, she says, I don't care. Imagine being placed on a child abuse list for charges that were never pursued. Christina Rodriguez said that those charges were sustained. Absolute garbage. I had evidence to clear myself, but I was still put on the list for 7 months. My daughter was assaulted by her mother for wanting to read the Bible. It happened 3 times. The mother admitted to it. CFS ignored it. And the mother also violated a no contact order after my daughter said her boyfriend groped her. And still, CFS for 2 years did nothing. I'm a special ops veteran. I've been doing this for 13 years. If this system can take my rights away, it can do it to anybody. This case shows how the system is broken by morally corrupt individuals at CFS Rancho and Fontana. They traded integrity for power, and families are paying the price. We need real accountability and oversight. Confidentiality is being used to protect misconduct, and social workers must face jail time for falsifying allegations against innocent parents. Until that, there's no real change. And we taxpayers are going to be paying the price for this over and over and over again. And let's be clear, not all families are treated equally, as Ms. Gilbert, a social worker that came out to investigate the Bible incident, where she just barely brushed under brushed it away because she only had 2 more weeks on the job and didn't want to be held up for her next position. Said that women have a preeminent position over men at CFS. And I understood it also as over minorities. Look, we are facing 5,800 kids suing the county as we speak because falsification of allegations. 2023 grand jury report illuminated to this. What are we going to do, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here.
That's time.
Thank you very much. Asha Ranjaragan, who will be followed by Jane Hunt-Rubel.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Usha, and I'm here to advocate for my 34-year-old son with a diagnosis of schizophrenia. His symptoms started at 19 during his 3rd year at Cornell. Later, he graduated at 27 from UCR. June of 2023, he graduated with JD MBA from Santa Clara University, Northern California. He's currently at Pacific Grove Hospital in Riverside since November 24th. He spent Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, and his 34th birthday at the hospital. He was put on LPS conservatorship in mid-February. Soon after, he was seen by the DBH clinician who referred him to a non-secure facility in March. After interviewing my son, they denied admission. As per DBH clinician, referral was sent to a secure facility called Crestwood on February 27th, and no updates till now. The temporary public guardian visited my son in December and mentioned a revisit on March 7th. In January, a new public guardian was assigned, and she visited my son on April 23rd, several months after his admission. He has been assigned a new public guardian a few days ago. A team meeting that included the hospital social worker, public guardian, and the DBH clinician was held on April 15th, and I believe the level of care was confirmed on that day. I have the following questions or concerns. How does the DBH follow up on a referral? How does the public guardian follow up on the referral? The role of the social worker in the hospital to find a secure place for my son. Did Crestwood review the referral packet? Is my son placed on a waiting list? Or any contracted beds available? If not, when would the next bed be available? Will it help if my son gets transferred to one of the hospitals in our county? Given the confined space in hospital, my son has gained weight and is sad to see that his physical health is declining too. The delay is not only from the lack of bed availability, but also a delay in every step of the way, increasing or has increased my son's stay at the hospital. I hope moving forward, all these concerns get addressed in a timely manner. About myself, I am a retired emergency room physician, worked 25 years in Long Island, New York. The last 7 years before my retirement was from VA emergency room.
That's time.
Thank you. Jane Hunt-Rubel, who will be followed by Garth Pazant.
Good morning, board members. I hope it's going to be a good morning. I originally was going to speak about something else, but yesterday afternoon in my mailbox, I received this from the real estate department about, appraising my property. They were out there last year, and I've been totally against this from the get-go, but I have no voice in it at all, even though I'm a property owner and supports the schools. I was depressed last night after reading. I didn't get any sleep because, I'm trying to be calm here, but I had no sleep last night. And I was just really upset about it because I'm going to speak to somebody from the Real Estate Services Department because it's really thick. And I spoke to my neighbor across the street. He's not affected by it, but he lives on the corner because they're only building the sidewalk, which is on our side of the street from the elementary school. And I've been against this at the get-go because they're spending millions of dollars on something that just goes around the block up to the school again. And I had no say in it because I didn't realize it was happening until 2022, and I saw a surveyor in the middle of the street. And I was outraged when he told me what had happened, so I phoned Public Works Department, and they did have a meeting with me and the community, but it was after you guys already approved it. And Baca, you were there too at the library. But I was disappointed because I thought I would have some input, but it was already a done deal about the design and everything. So I got the water department all for me too, because I said, this doesn't make sense because the groundwater, when it does rain, it goes down into the groundwater, when it does pour. And so I'm just here to let you know that I would like to speak to somebody from the Real Estate Services Department, because this is really I had no voice in it. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I'm a property owner, and they never, ever notified me. The schools, that's what it was all about, was the 2 elementary schools, and I find that un-American. I'm sorry that I supported the schools, and they never notified by mail or anything. And they essentially were calling me a liar. And I said, the only notice I got was after the fact that you guys approved it and everything. And it was just to pacify me, I guess. And so anyway, I just want to talk about that, make you aware of that. And I don't know what...
That's time.
Thank you, Jane. Garth Pizan, followed by Samantha Coloma.
Thank you. In the case of the state of California versus Joseph Moulton, District Attorney James Wong, you have failed and refused to reopen the case. Now I will commence breaking down China and most China Americans. May Jehovah have mercy on your souls. Jason Anderson, you know who I am. I am subject to roast you with Pam because I have stake in Uncle Sam. To Black America, it has been recorded that China is your enemy. Before we ride on our enemy, we must pray. Black America says, pray, we are the prey. To China, soon I will summon Jehovah God to rain down fire and sulfur and lightning upon you. To Dr. Georgina Yochayoka, Director of the San Bernardino County Department of Behavioral Health, and Ms. Kristen Munkall, one of your administrators, has installed an infantile risk kit into your department as a created position behavioral health education consultant under your nose. The above infantile has been planted at Clubhouse Team House as supervisor. She has destroyed the morale of the consumers, and now the populace has dwindled. She must be removed from the county human resources roster, and Ms. Kristen Munkall must be severely disciplined. The name of the supervisor is a Ms. Cassandra Hager, whom is a Gothic and which represents satanic worship. Dr. Yochayoka, how will you remedy this problem? A consultant comes from the ranks. Ms. Hager is so young, her poop stinks. Reparations, you give us the money, on you it is spent. You owe us the land, then you pay the rent. You give us a mule, it's a vehicle. We demand the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Samantha Coloma, followed by Karen Reich.
Good morning, supervisors. My name is Samantha Coloma, and I'm a resident of Fontana, California. I attend International Polytechnic High School located in Pomona, and I'm currently a high school senior. Attending a project-based learning school over the course of my high school career, I have been faced with countless school projects teaching me things like time management, collaboration, and problem solving, all of which have taught me valuable things. For senior year, my peers and I were given our last project to end off our iPoly careers, which is the Senior Capstone Project, in which we were prompted to choose a topic we were passionate about and wanted to leave a lasting impact on. My topic of choice was health literacy in San Bernardino County, as I plan to pursue a career in healthcare in the future. Throughout the school year, I conducted research using published studies from government and healthcare websites, as well as 3 interviews with health literacy professionals to get more of an understanding of health literacy, in which all were helpful leading up to my knowledge on the subject. Since this project was meant to create an impact, I chose to do a petition to establish health literacy resources across San Bernardino County libraries. I started petitioning in late February, circulating the petition across parts of the Inland Empire, some cities including San Bernardino, Fontana, Chino Hills, and Rancho Cucamonga. In the 2 years of petitioning, I've gathered over 150 signatures from residents in those cities, and I still plan to gather as many signatures as possible. Even though this is a school project, this project has taught me a lot about community outreach and the importance of civic engagement. It has also made me realize how passionate I am about making an impact on healthcare and in my community in general. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my experience and for the chance to speak with you all today. I look forward to continuing to learn, grow, and find ways to make a positive difference in my community. And thank you for your time and consideration. And I'd like to personally thank Supervisor Rao for meeting with me last week. Thank you.
I wish you all the best. It was a pleasure to meet with you. Thank you very much. Karen Reich?
Good morning. I suffer from a condition called spasmodic dysphonia. So if I could, I'd like to let this recording do my speaking for me. I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
Position of, we have to take the facts as they're pleaded in the light most favorable. So, we're not trying the case. But how can a person in the shoes of your clients possibly believe that it was appropriate to use perjury and false evidence in order to impair somebody's liberty interest in the continued care, custody, and control of that person's children? How could they possibly not be on notice that you can't do that?
I understand the...
How could that possibly be?
I understand the argument that it seems to be common sense and our ethical...
It's more than common sense. It's statutes that prohibit perjury and submission of false evidence in court cases.
State statutes.
Are you telling me that a person in your client's shoes couldn't understand you can't commit perjury in a court proceeding in order to take somebody's children away?
Of course not, Your Honor.
Of course not.
Then isn't the case over then?
And the case is over.
Because...
Stanich is distinguishable.
Case closed.
It's 820.2 tells government actors in the state of California you get immunities for using for discretionary acts. 820.21 came out and said, unless you lie, cheat, and steal. So don't do that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is the last request to speak that I have. This meeting is adjourned. Our next regularly scheduled Board of Supervisors meeting will be here in Chambers next Tuesday on May 6th at 10 a.m. Thank you.